How are you, partners? You are watching us via Facebook at Curve TV. I am Architect Patch, and you're watching Curve TV's Bold Talks, your collaborative construction show, Season 2. Okay, nice to see you again, guys. You are watching us via Facebook at Curve TV PH, on Kumu at TBC, and on YouTube at the Boulder channel. Here at Curve TV's Bold Talks, we want the construction industry to be united creatively. No stress, no drama, good vibes lang tayo mga parts. We will bring you the different sides and faces of the industry like never before. Fresh, inspiring, unintimidating. Join us for an hour of talk and more. Let's get ahead of the curve. Now, joining our program are architects Gerard D., the principal architect of GD Architecture, architect Jen Leocadio, principal architect of Archistract Builders Co., and architect Kyle Cooks Nestro, partner at design at Plus Architecture. Good evening, guys. Thank you for doing this with us. Kamusta kayo?
Hello, good evening, Architect Pat.
Good evening.
Good evening, Pash. Good evening, guys.
Yes. Oh, yan. Kayo naman, lagi kayong magkakasama eh. So, I'm so excited. Parang ako talaga yung sumama sa conversation nyo today. But, it's nice to see you guys. You are all here. And this is going to be a very exciting conversation. Because, I mean, the viewers will know all about it later on. But, let's start the conversation going, right? So, in a nutshell, because you are all architects and educators, all right, how has the pandemic redefined architecture and design in the country? Let's start with architect Gerard.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting us, una, no, Patch. And good evening sa viewers natin. I think first is we redefine how's the relationship, how's our relationship with the space. Parang that's what I observed na parang this time we are asking what is our real relationship with our spaces. Ayan. So yun yung nakita ko. And then yung parang pinaka-common is we are embracing now the natural light and ventilation. Parang before kasi pag ini-introduce natin to sa clients, no, kailangan meron kang bintana, kailangan meron kang setback, kailangan meron kang ganitong open space. Yung mga clients karaniwan para kailangan natin i-maximize yung space, so kahit na walang bintana, okay lang. Pero this time I recognize that because everyone understands the importance of health, di ba? And natural ventilation and light, natural light. Parang mas madali na i-communicate, no, sa clients, sa ating lahat na we have this ground, no, meron tayong common understanding about natural light and vent. And yun yung sa tingin ko.
Parang gets na kasi nila eh, no? It's easier, parang you don't need to explain it further, unlike before. Now, it's a real first-hand experience for them to know ano ba talagang importance nitong mga ventilation and lighting. Correct. I agree with you on that. Architect Jen, what about for you?
For me, ang pinaka na-notice ko, no, ngayong pandemic, hindi ko alam kung na-notice nyo din, nag-arise sa Facebook ang iba't ibang group about sa pagre-renovate ng bahay.
I agree. And part din ako nung iba
Yeah.
dyan.
Yes, this is real. And everyone, siguro, dahil nga a lot of us are staying at our own homes, so a lot of them noticed kung ano yung mga mali. Or, ay, parang hindi pala, eto yun, the word is, parang hindi pala ako tatagal sa bahay. So they are worried.
Right.
And ang dami na rin ang maganda, marami na rin nakakapansin sa importance ng ating profession. There are a lot of people na rin na nakaka-appreciate ng profession natin, na consultant architect, get an architect. I really have seen that evolve through these trying times, And a lot of my friends also considered renovating their homes bigla, So, ayun, nakakatuwa lang na nung una kasi ang conception natin always is parang ang mahal kumuha ng architect, sobrang mahal, parang carry ko ba yan? So now, yun yung para sa akin pinaka-notified ko na changes. Biglang lahat ng tao conscious sa bahay, lahat ng vlogs about bahay, lahat ng vlogs about design, they are doing it. So I think that's one of the changes that we've noticed at this time.
And I love that perspective, architect Ren. Because, I mean, parang nag-glorify yung diba? Parang binigay sa atin yung spotlight. Na parang, this profession pala matters talaga.
Yes.
Na pag-iisipan talaga, no? What about you, Architect Cooks? What's your take on this?
Yung when you're very excited to travel somewhere, and then dahil nagkaroon ng pandemic, you couldn't travel, even though you already have tickets to go somewhere. So it's actually like that. Yung people are actually looking forward to something at the end of the pandemic, and one of them is actually also their houses, or for example, wherever people could go, maybe a vacation house, maybe a resort. So those are the things that I see na nag-a-align na somewhat nagkaroon ng may pagka-demand doon, even though they're not going to start construction now. I've done some proposals na it's about their house. They're actually thinking of, after this pandemic, let's tear down the old house and make a new one, or merong lote na you're gonna do something about it. So there's always that thing na at the end of the tunnel that they want to look forward to, they want to spend on, and they want to have something new. So it's like a rebirth of some sort. So I think that's what's happening also. It's like being excited to go and travel, but hindi siya about traveling. It's about a new piece of property or a new destination that they would have. So that's how I see the pandemic, aligning or pointing to some direction to mga different users. Ayan.
Parang it's a different scenery rin diba? That's what people are trying to look for. Because nga naman, if you are confined at home within the walls of, say, your bedroom, even if you go to your kitchen, I mean, we've heard so many cases now that hindi sila nagre-renovate, but they're reorienting their furniture, right? Maiba lang yung itsura ng space nila sa bahay. And I've also done that a couple of times. But I'd like to take on from your point a while ago, Architect Gerard, with all the, considering the lighting and the ventilation, all the planning. I mean, we've been stuck here for more than a year, right? And we are creative people. We live to have new ideas and search for new contents in our plans. Did your creative process change from how it was pre-pandemic because of this entire lockdown?
Yeah, Patch. Actually, parang personal journey rin talaga yung nangyari, because of the pandemic and lockdowns. Parang to step up, move forward, di ba? I choose to study and to develop myself. So I attended some programs na hindi, parang akala ko alam ko na pero hindi pa pala, no? For example, understanding the space better, na decluttering and also organizing your space. So I attended that program, and then I realized that each portion of the house meron siyang direct relationship sa life, sa aspect ng buhay. So for example, itong area na to, itong desk ko, for example, is representing my relationships with my family. If I find clutter in my space, it means merong something also in my relationships with my family. So parang I realized na okay, in my creative process as an architect, it's also important to identify the intention and also yung personality talaga ng client. So hindi lang talaga alam natin 'di ba, as an architect we translate no kung ano yung kailangan nila. But this time ang nadagdag sa creative process ko is to really understand them and to really understand no the person o kung sino yung nangangailangan ng tulong. So yun yung number one talaga na natutunan ko na na mas kilalanin no yung tao, yung client.
Because we have so much time to reflect kasi on things
Yes,
self-reflection and to learn about other people that it
True.
really matters in this profession, diba? And
True.
you know, one house is different from another. You really customize it based on their personalities and characters. Architect Jan,
Correct,
ikaw ba nagkaroon ka ng bagong practice in terms of working on your designs or new methods, ganyan?
Oo. Ako actually, I didn't really have yung bagong methods, no? Pero there's one thing na napatunayan ko during this time. Ang pinakamahirap talagang i-design is bahay. Yes.
You know what? I could not agree more. Totoo yan.
Yes. Oo. Di ba dati before it's very basic na parang family, place for ganito, ganyan. During this pandemic, a lot of them wanted to consider their homes as offices already. So, kasi nga, we are in the digital age. So, thank you somehow no sa digital. Tayo ngayon, we are one of the beneficiaries ng digital, no? We can talk like this, we can talk about everything kahit magkakalayo tayo. Same as the working environment. So yun yung pinakamalaking realization ko, and nadagdagan pa. So parang ang add sa creative process ko is what if magtagal nga yung pandemic. So a lot of my clients, architect, I want my house to be, gusto ko parang pag nagtrabaho ko walang makaka-istorbo and then I am focused, ganyan. So lalong humirap. Mahirap na dati ang bahay. Dumoble pa ng hirap ngayon kasi they want to join force yung pagkakaroon ng office and then home pa din, di ba? So,
kasi dati hindi mo dapat iuwi yung trabaho, di ba?
Yes,
yun ang rule
correct.
before
Oo. Eh ngayon, you have that things na kailangan mong isipin, di ba? Kailangan, dati, ang iniisip mo lang, kailangan, pag inuwian nila, homey, ganyan-ganyan. Okay. So, andun yung pagbabago, di ba? Yung bahay, kailangan yung atmosphere niya, very calm, very serene, kasi nga, that's the place for you to, kumbaga, pahinga talaga. Pag home, pahinga. It is where your heart is. Ngayon, malalagyan mo siya ng isang mabigat na task where I want my office. I want it to be flexible enough. Ano yung lighting? Mga ganong questions. So, that's what changed me in this time.
Kasi normally, ayaw mo naman maglagay ng dim lighting sa workspace kasi ginanto ka. Diba? Parang, I mean, let's face it, even your lamp, your lighting, the positioning, it all matters how your workflow is. Diba? Iba talaga.
Marami tayong kababayan na, di ba? Actually, marami tayong kababayan na CS. Customer Service Representative. So, natutuwa ako kasi merong mga nagpaparenovate architect. Parating nagmi-meeting yung mga manok ng kapitbahay namin tsaka yung mga aso.
At aso. Oo. Kanina nangyari lang sa akin yan. Daming aso sa background. Oo. Right.
May meeting sila. Bigla silang nag-decision mag-meeting. Paano mangyayari sa akin? Paano ko magagawang soundproof? So, ayun. That's one of the challenging parts and it will switch the way you think of design completely.
That's right. Architect Cooks, ikaw ba ganun din ang feelings mo ngayon? Any addition to your process?
Yes, actually ang nangyari na bago sa process namin in the firm because we're a partner, dalawa lang kami.
Mhm.
So yung complexity ng pag-partner namin has changed in a certain way. And for example, yung delegation is naging clear which one does this or that one, and it got to be refined because of this. Other than that, of course, my workspace at home changed. Like, you can buy a lot of things dun sa may online shopping. Eh, ang dami furniture pieces ka na pwede bilhin dun. That's
Delikado nga
another
minsan
thing.
yan eh.
Yes.
Yung mga Lazada sale na yan eh. Oh.
And the other thing din na ano na the very important thing is sourcing. Usually when we source, we go out
Yes.
to source.
Yes.
And now how we interact with suppliers, it became much it's somewhat the same pa din, but there's something different about it. And ngayon mas lumaki yung perspective ko on who I can interact with in terms of sourcing. Like for example, designing for a project. Oh no, saan ako mag-source ng gantong materyales? And then mamaya nandun ako sa Alibaba, kausap ko na yung isang supplier sa China na merong kayang gumawa ng sobrang laking acrylic piece. Yung mga ganun na nangyayari na I didn't know I could actually do and help the client out that way, na because we have more time on our hands and because we are actually somewhat, let's say, forced to try other things digitally, and mas lumaki yung connection natin rather than just here in Manila or here in the Philippines, na tayo natin internationally to collaborate with other people. And that way, I think, is also a good, something good, kumbaga, sa may practice dun sa creative process, na we're not limited na, ay, hanggang ginto lang meron dito sa atin eh. We don't have to think anymore na hanggang ginto lang dito sa atin eh. We could actually open our doors and improve what we have here, and maybe the local industry will follow suit with what we have and what we can bring in. So yun yung nakita ko na something very good about the creative process and how it affected dahil dito sa may...
And I'm super happy also with that that advantage, no? We were really pushed to go digital. And I think this profession, us being architects and designers, sanay na tayo dito sa space na to eh. Like, we can work, you can work wherever, coffee shop, whatever,
Yes.
dala lang natin yung laptop, or even if you have a paper, diba, you can sketch your designs. And
Definitely.
to be able to, open up the digital world, and it somehow connects us to people that we're not really connected to before. Diba, parang yun nga, yung Alibaba, parang you can source out pala materials before hindi mo gagawin yun eh. Diba,
Yes.
local suppliers lang. I mean, the length of the creativity also, and the exposure to other things is, I think, another advantage. But there's one thing about this pandemic also, or lockdown, that's quite challenging for us, because I know you guys heard of this. Pagdating sa work from home, usually wala nang boundaries yan, diba? Anytime, tatawagan ni partner or ni colleague, paano naman ng drawing, or ganyan. So, the effect is you are demotivated or you feel burned out. Has this happened to you? Can you just share us one incident wherein you just felt so burnt out in this entire lockdown? Tumatawa na si Architect Gerard, mukhang may experience recently about being burnt out at dito eh. Any kwento?
Yeah, Patch, yan talaga. Totoo naman, parang kanya-kanya talagang challenges, since last year. And burnout talaga, burnout talaga with many things. Not only physically, actually mentally talaga. Yun yung talagang nakaka sa atin setback, no. And for me, siguro naging outlet ko, as you notice. Jungle na dito sa sa space ko. Oo, plant
Ibigay ko
papa
na lang
ako,
kaya
plant
sa'yo
mama.
yung plan ko dito. Parang yan, mag-isa lang siya dito. Nakakahiya naman eh.
Ay, okay yan. Parang parang it's a good thing din. I'm very interested in nature, and parang in-include ko yung gardens and also green spaces in my designs. And I'm very inclined to taking care of plants and learning about their ways, no. Parang sabi ko nga, ang dami niyang tinuturo sa akin. So parang kapag na-stress na ako, no, I just look at them, and there are studies, 'di ba, sinasabi nakakatulong talaga sa atin, no, yung halaman, no, yung view ng greens, no, sa space natin.
Yes.
Whenever we are working at home, tapos meron na tayong eye strain, no, masakit na talaga yung mata natin because of the computer screens natin. Parang having 5 minutes of rest lang, no, and then look at your plants, parang it can help you regain your energy. Yun for me.
Kinakantahan mo rin ba yan, architect, kapag dinidiligan mo? Do you sing?
Oo, tinay ko rin yun. Architect Patch.
Diba?
Kaya lang mukhang ayaw nila. Ayaw nila sa
Sige,
kanta ko.
hanggang dilig-dilig na lang ng plants. Tama yan.
Oo,
I mean,
oo,
it really has a
ganun.
psychological effect kasi talaga. And, it brings in the good oxygen talaga to our body. So, it really rejuvenates our system. Architect Jen, what happens when you reach a creative roadblock? You get burnt out? How do you handle it during this time? Work from home?
Ako, ang pinaka-major burnout moment ko right now is especially last year, no? Kasi last year we experienced talaga, you don't get to get out talaga. As in, talagang wala.
Yes.
Ako kasi, one of my differences, of course, I am in the construction industry also. So, ang hirap. Lalo na, meron talaga kami mga site na nag-go pa din. Kasi they are just in the site lang naman, yung mga construction worker. Pero ang hirap i-transfer nung knowledge na dapat ganito, straight, ganito lang yung lapad. So, yun yung medyo stressful sa akin na parang, paano kailan ba matatapos to? Gusto ko nang pumunta ng site, gano'n. And also, ang isang burnout is, how about those projects that are stopped?
Yes.
Major, major talaga. And then, yung mga tao, so you're thinking all about those things. Ako, pinaka-outlet ko siguro is, thank you, Foundry. Kasi, tuturo din ako. So, yun. So, isa yun
Magandang
sa outlet
outlet yan.
ko. Oo, magturo. And during my class, siguro nag-share ako ng mga moments. And then, sometimes natutuwa lang ako kasi yung pag-share ko, biglang meron din palang the same. Ganon, the same practice na
It's very
nangyayari
relatable
sa
pala.
amin yan.
Oo.
Oo, akala ko sa akin lang, akala ko nag-iisa lang ako, Architect Patch. Yung pala marami tayo. So,
Oo.
it is really nice to talk minsan to strangers, minsan syempre ang students naman is first hand, ngayon mo lang sila makita hindi mo naman sila masyadong but sometimes they really relate to you. And also sa friends, ang ano ko is my friends, high school friends to be specific, bigla-bigla nagvi-video chat. Parang mas dumalas pa yung video chat namin.
Right.
Oo, and then they're asking everything under the sun. So, thank you. Yun ang siguro pinakamagandang burnout release ko talagang ang aking mga friends, family na talagang kwentuhan to the max. Siguro yan na lang din ang magawa
it's really
natin.
It's that interaction kasi, diba? I mean, yun naman talaga yung nawala sa atin before.
Yes.
And it's still different to do it face-to-face. I mean, video, it's the best thing we have now. But when you see someone in person, iba talaga diba? And 1 year na tayong na bawal nyo gawin yan. So,
actually, I just realized, no? For 1 year pala, kadiri pala tayo mga nilalang. Dati, we can stand without washing our hands for about 2 to 4 hours. Ngayon, parang may mahawakan ka lang, okay, hugas na. So, dati pala, mga tayo. And, ewan ko kung...
go ahead.
Yun. Ewan ko kung napansin nyo yun, no? Grabe. Dati, we can stand a day. Hahawa ka sa kung saan. MRT, kotse, lahat. Walang hugas-hugas. And then, sabay kain.
Right.
And then now, everything, kailangan hugas, cautious ka dapat talaga. Nakakatuwa. Ang daming realization itong panahon na to talaga.
We're such clean creatures now, right? And Architect Cox, ikaw ba burned out or medyo chill?
Actually, ako medyo taking my time being chill, kumbaga. Kasi
Okay.
yung creativity ko and yung productivity ko parang naka-focus fire siya. Parang biglang, okay, may deadline dito. Kayang-kaya in 1 week. Tapos yan. Tapos after nun, mga 1 month or 2 months na medyo very slow. So, ganun yung nangyayari na parang consequence ko as dun sa may burnout. So, yun din yung parang nagiging outlet ko naman. Naglalaro ako madalas. So, I'm also happy I get to teach in Foundry. So, that's another outlet that I'm not really thinking about yung meron akong deadline. And very fortunate ako na I can control my own time, that I don't have to report, let's say, 8 hours in a day. And I could only imagine yung iba that's doing 8 hours a day for 5 days, and they are reporting, and they have to really report and be there at that time frame. Yun yung, I think ako talaga pag ganun, sobrang mababurn out ako that way. At least, I'm very fortunate that I get to control na, okay, I think this one isn't due yet. I can I can delay it a little bit. It's like yung meron akong ginagawa din ngayon na, well, it's not so urgent because they're starting yung isang part pa lang, and hindi pa, you can control, and that way I get to somehow manage my pagka-burnout. But there are also times na pagka nirush yan na talagang kailangan na ngayon, sige, bibilisan talaga, yun talagang burnout yun, talagang puyatan yan. Umakit na yung araw, okay, matutulog pa lang ako. Ganun yung nangyayari.
Natetest kasi yung natetest yung time management natin in this setup, right?
Yes,
when you feel that you own the world, when you're at home, like, okay, kaya ko to, I can delay this 1 more hour. And then, napatingin ka lang sa Netflix, o sige, 1 episode lang, promise I'll do it after 3 episodes. Mukhang nangyari to sa akin recently. After 3 episodes, sige, last na talaga, last. And then wala na, you become unproductive, right? So that's why I think minsan yung pagka-burnout natin, gawain din natin yun eh. I mean, we asked for it. So it's just really a matter of managing your time. But I mean, that's probably my segue to my next question, no? Sabaw moment na rin yun for me kasi parang nagtuloy-tuloy na yung pagnood ko nung series. Any of you guys had a super sabaw moment in relation to your work in this pandemic? Parang biglaan yung sinabi, what was I thinking? Ano bang nangyari? Anything that you wanna share with us?
Nako, totoo yan, Pasha, no? Talagang, I can relate to that, yung parang nanood ako ng Korean novela. No? Parang before hindi ko alam na ano pala yan, hook pala yan, Netflix, no? And siguro, lost sense of dates already. Parang I experienced like that. Sabi ko, anong araw na ba? Hindi ko, tapos yung pala, meron pala akong kailangan na i-prepare, di ba? Parang before the meeting. Tapos parang, okay, nasa habulin ko na. Sabi ko, talaga, nakatulong yung, siguro for me, after that, sabi ko, kailangan na akong mag-alarm. Yung talagang very conscious and mindful na okay, ito yung time ko kasi ang daming oras, di ba? Maganda talaga na may gadget na ganyan para ma-monitor din kung hanggang saan yung limits ko.
Tama yan. I mean, kasi pag nanood ka ng Korean novela, ng mga K-drama, tutok ka dapat eh. Alam mo yung kukuha ka lang ng tubig, wala na, na-miss ko na yung important part. Exactly, diba? So parang mahirap talaga eh. Any more sabaw moments? Architect Cooks, meron ka bang na-experience?
I do have. I actually have 2 that is on top of my mind. Yung first talaga, meron humingi ng proposal sa amin with a partner of mine sa kasi parang we work with a construction firm at times sa different projects. So parang nangyayari design and build, but we're still very much separated, but we're collaborating with each other. So it's their client, and then we go in with the design, and we close the deal with everything in there. And then ang nangyayari dun, gusto nung client mabilisan. So parang in 11 days, tapos na yung proposal ng isang building. And then sabi ni client, swerte mag-start ng construction gantong date. Meron akong parang 8 or 9 days para gawin yun. they're doing the engineering side, I'm doing the architectural side. So I had to finish a drawing in less than a week. So isang buong set of drawings yun. And then they also did their part na sabay-sabay na sobrang fit lahat. Even though napakasabaw na buong week na okay na yan, tapos na yan, malinis na yan, go na yan. Parang kaya pala yun in 1 week na mag-start na mabigay yun sa may client and then mag-sign na everything. So yun yung sobrang
Pwede
sabaw
pala,
na,
no? Oo.
sobrang sabaw na napamadali mo na kaya pala yun. Yung may ganun ding realization. And another thing, when I was teaching yung part ng history of architecture kasi it was already another season eh. And sometimes I put in some jokes on my slides. So talagang maglalagay ako ng maling information. I forgot the information that I put in was wrong because it was a joke. So meron, who is the architect of Burj Al Arab, yung hotel na yon. Nilagay ko Tom, tapos yung last name niya, wrong. Kasi ang totoong pangalan niya, Tom Right. So sinabi ko sa class, sino gumawa niyan? Si Tom Wrong. Tapos ganun. Tapos may nag-message, Sir, di ba si Tom Right? Tapos sabi ko, ay oo nga si Tom Right. Nilagay ko yan as a joke. Kasi in the end, sino yung niloko ko? Ako.
Sarili mo lang. Sarili mo yung niloko mo.
So nakakatawa na yung sabaw moment na ganun. Na I forgot.
And at least na-gets nila, They
So,
were really,
funny.
kilala talaga nila for them to
Yes,
correct you on that.
Nice
diba?
Nice one.
Architect,
Nice one.
yeah. Pwede. Architect Jen, any sabaw moments?
Natuwa ako dun sa sabaw moment ni Architect Cooks na 1 week na pass on drawing. Yan na yata ang gusto kong mangyari sa akin pag nasabaw ako. 1 week kakayanin. Parang baliktad sa sabaw yan, Anong sabaw yan?
Masyado sabihin ng Architect Cooks, baka mamaya effect nila sa atin, 1 week kaya na natin lahat,
Ay, hindi. Ano yan? Once in a year, baka.
Mamaya sabihin ng mga client, kaya pala ng 1 week, sabaw pa daw yun,
Yun nga eh. Paki-edit out ito mamaya. I-edit namin to. Oo. Ikaw, Architect Jen.
Actually, ako, lucky for me, pagkaharap ko yung client, walang sabaw moment. Pero, pag wala na akong harap, makikita mo ko tulala.
Hindi ba lahat naman tayo gano'n?
As in, sobrang tulala. And then, paggising ko sa umaga, my mom and my boyfriend always ask me, bakit parati kang tulala pagkagising?
Totoo yan. No?
Oo.
Wala. I mean, gano'n na lang nangyayari na lang eh. Kasi
Ang bilis
ang dami mong iniisip, ang daming,
Tutuwa ako
Mabilis.
sa mga arkitekto. Ang bilis ng switching ng mindset, no? Parang ang lungkot-lungkot mo, 1 hour. Lulupasay ka. And then, pagkarap mo ng client, hello po! Ito po
pati
ba?
yung pati yung tono ng boses, 'di ba?
Oo.
Pero minsan ano ba yan? Hello sir. Hey, anything? Do you have a problem? Nagkakaroon ka ng marketing voice ng sales voice, 'di ba? Iba eh. I think I can
Yes.
relate to that. I can relate to that sabaw moment. And I mean, this is super fun. I mean, ang ganda ng intro natin, guys. And ngayon, excited na ako sa next segment natin, right? But we will take a break first. And after this, I have so many questions about this. And I'm sure a lot of people have so many questions also. So when we return, we will talk about professional development programs and other learning opportunities amidst the pandemic. So don't go away, parts. Curve TV's Bold Talk Season 2 will be right back.
It's a space where everyone is free to learn, exchange knowledge, and explore new things. I'm very happy to be here and be part of the launching of Foundry. Tonight, we are launching Foundry, a progressive learning center for architecture and the built environment. As you can see, they have murals of our famous architects here and abroad, and their famous works as well.
Today, we experience the fruit of the collective effort, the collective blood, sweat, and tears of people who we have affinities with. In Foundry, we share a mission and vision of uplifting Filipino architecture and design through progressive education.
At Foundry, we believe that we need to make that connection. That it doesn't end with the board exam. Getting the license is just the start of a new journey. And that's why at Foundry, we believe that we need to keep on learning.
It is built on a strong foundation of service that permeates every aspect of this learning center. From every corner of this room to the literal writings on the wall.
Eventually be gone, but its radiant light will continue infinitely when its light is shared and passed on. We hope you'll make yourselves comfortable here at Foundry, and thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Welcome back to Curve TV's Bold Talk Season 2. We are talking about the progressive learning system of Foundry with our guests, Architect Gerard, CEO, Head of Curriculum and Founding Founder, and Architect Jen and Architect Cooks, both Foundry mentors. Okay, yan. So, switching of hats na tayo. So, kanina, we were talking to them about how they are as architects, in this profession. Now we want to learn more about them being mentors, right, and educators. And this is going to be an exciting topic because different talaga ngayon eh. The entire learning experience, learning space is different. And I was telling this to them off air that ako rin, I'm also a student and I know how different it is and challenging it is as a student, and what more if you are the teacher. So let's start first with Architect Gerard. What are the challenges Foundry faced during this pandemic? And these challenges, how are you able to overcome them? Sige, tawa. Go.
Architect Patch, Foundry is a young school. No, simula pa lang eh. Parang we just had 2 batches of students for preparations for ALE. And then came pandemic. Parang sabi ko, paano yan? Wala, parang nandun pa lang kami sa paakyat na momentum. Tapos biglang, okay, totoong challenge na medyo mabigat talaga. No? And And what helped us is the vision is clear. The Foundry's vision is clear. No, to help everyone achieve their point from point A to point B. So we assist you from your point A to point B, and we are helping the profession by introducing or giving or having the environment for progressive learning. So with that vision, yung very clear sa amin ganyan, parang nakatulong sa amin to cope up with the pandemic. And then from the on-site classes, kasi our classes are highly interactive. Kapag on-site, lalo na talagang maingay talaga kami sa classroom. Naglalaro talaga kami doon to facilitate fun learning. And ang challenge ngayon, paano gagawin yung ganyan kung online or virtual classes na? So, ang nangyari, we started with parang nag-change kaagad kami into virtual learning. We embrace it. Una talaga doon with the idea of being abundant. Parang we embrace the abundance mindset already. Sabi ko, ano ba yung mag-stop sa atin to move forward in this pandemic na okay, i-control lang ba natin within our community, with our classrooms, yung ating mga materials, pati yung content, no, pati yung mga mentors, pati yung mga materials ng mentors, no. Sa parang sabi ko, if we are stuck with that kind of mindset na we limit, nako, hindi tayo mag-move forward. So, ang unang step is we embrace that na okay, sige, we just share. No, we just share. Ngayon, pandemic, parang this is the time na talagang buhayin yung vision na magtulungan tayo. So, anong best way na gawin yan is we share information. We share what we know to everyone. So, ang naging effect nun, mas mabilis kasi the mentors are very willing to share what they know, their materials. No, nag-open up kami ng mga Sparks programs na free, open to everyone. No, we invited guests and architects and other designers and related fields natin na mag-share din sila ng kanilang expertise, no, and this is free, no. So sabi ko, parang nung nagkaroon kami ng ganong klaseng values, no, mas naging mabilis yung pag-adapt natin sa pandemic. So ayun, yun yung nangyari.
I think to embrace it talaga eh. Kasi if you try to be parang defensive pa na, I mean, babalik rin tayo dyan, mas mahihirapan tayo to adjust eh. And I think, in a way, the way I see it, Architect Gerard, pa-start pa lang din kayo. Pero nung tumama, okay din. I mean, you were able to adjust eh. Kumbaga parang BB company, nagawa nyo rin mag-adjust quickly. Feeling ko. And I think with the young mentors and like free-spirited mentors also na magaling and with your guys' expertise when it comes to the digital age, di ba? I think that's an advantage to you guys also, right?
Architect Patch, I'm very grateful that we have a community of young architects as well. Na parang with social media, with the technology, with their experience, kasi relevant yung experience nila, parang very fresh sa kanila yung board exam, no, experience. And nakakatuwa, no, kasi sabi ko nga nung pumasok yung lockdown, ready na kami kaagad, parang okay, ongoing review for the June board exam. Nag-shift kaagad kami into virtual classes agad-agad. So parang natuwa ako kaagad na ang galing, kasi hindi ko alam eh. Ako mismo hindi ko alam na may ganun palang platform. Tapos ngayon with the help and also yung expertise ng mga young professionals natin, no, we're able to do the virtual classes as early as March, no, 2020.
And I think kasi review center to when you take the ALES. So the pressure of we cannot waste one day without pivoting here in this system, right? We really have to see how we can adjust to this space. And I'll be asking more about that, no, the preparations to the board exam. But let's focus more on what Foundry does. And I'd like to ask Architect Jen, no, when we talk about the learning experience, what kind of programs and strategies does Foundry provide to students, also professionals?
Okay, actually, yun nga, yung kay Foundry, as what Architect Gerard said earlier, we try as much as possible to be close with the students, something that they can relate to. And of course, syempre, we have the fun learning experience. So, gaya nga ng sinabi ni Architect Gerard, medyo makukulit kami nung we are not still in the digital age. Pero, one thing that we realized when we go digital na mga Zoom meetings nga, because Zoom is our platform, mas naging close. So, mas matindi yung interaction. Kasi, ang isang barrier kasi na napansin ko with nung hindi tayo, nung hindi pa kami digital is, ang daming tanong ng students, but they're afraid to ask questions. As usual, you know, they are really reserved in asking questions. Pero ngayon, during the class, magchat-chat sa'yo, PM, magpa-pop out talaga. Masasagot mo ng, they feel
PM
more...
is key, Architect
PM
Jen.
is the key, oo. O kaya sinasabi ko minsan, comment down below, ganon, nagiging vlog, di ba? Oo. But, I think that's the happiest part of it, that in our program, we try to make sure that as much as possible, the students and the teachers have a close relation. And yun nga, nakaka-relate. Actually, ayun, parang pag nag-aaral kami ng professional practice and codes, yung talakan ng mga estudyante, parang, as what I have said earlier, minsan, matatakot ka na, ang dami palang laman ng isip ng mga ganitong students, no? Ang dami palang tanong sa kanilang ano. So, that is our strategy, of course. We take it to the next level na, okay, usap tayo. This is our program, ganito, we study today professional practice. This is how you relate to us. Oh, what is your ano yung na-encounter mo ngayon dito? And then kwento na sila. Ang saya for a student, of course, everyone has been a reviewing before, 'di ba? So, ang sayang makarelate. Kasi sa totoo lang, in our profession, this is not just the review is not just a preparation for the board exam. It is a big preparation for the real world.
It's a milestone, yes.
Yeah, it is, marami kang matututunan sa review center na hindi mo naman natutunan sa school before. And then, hindi naman pare-pareho ng practice. Lahat. Merong nagpo-focus sa design, merong nasa construction, merong nasa project management. So, yun yung maganda. Parang diverse. We have a diverse way of learning, and also we have a close relation with them.
The curriculum that Foundry is offering, is it just purely for those who are planning to take the board exam, or do you also have classes for continuous learning?
Actually,
parang mga CPD. Do you also offer it for architects already?
Actually, napag-usapan nga natin kanina, no? We do have the business of architecture, then na mga talks, and then we have other talks like for lighting. Meron tayong mga for professionals na talaga. Okay? Kasi nga, gaya nga nung sinabi ko kanina, parang ang daming mga estudyante, ma'am, bakit wala tayong business course kaya nung nung college tayo, no? Bakit wala?
Yeah.
Ngayon, lahat ng arkitekto, di ba? Most of us, lalo na yung mga nasa design, negosyante. Kasi ikaw ang magre-represent.
Kasi architecture is negosyo also eh.
Yes.
It's a business, right?
It's a business, right.
So the business class is open to non-architects, non-licensed and also licensed. Is that right?
Yes.
Generally,
Okay.
our
Yes.
Patch, vision ng Foundry is transition education, no? So, from your point A to point B. So, we believe na ang point A natin, for example, kakagraduate mo lang ng architecture. And then your point B is to take the board exams and pass the licensure exam. So we provide the transition learning for ALE. So that's the review program. Okay. And then when you're an architect already, that's your point A now. Your point B is to expand your practice or to improve your career, di ba? So now Foundry comes in as a school na nag-o-offer ng professional development programs. So yung sinasabi ni Architect Jen na business in design and architecture is part of that transition education for professionals. So,
Yes.
ayan. Oh. So,
Saka din
ano yon.
yung architecture, 'di ba, what we also do is yung different subjects we try to incorporate them when we teach them to the reviewees.
Yeah,
And
true.
even it's not just, our intention is not really just tuturuan ka lang namin for the exam and that's it. No,
Mhm.
we were actually looking at something that we want to teach you something that you can take advantage of after you take the exam and you get your license, because we're assuming and we believe na you're worthy to get your license and you're going to get
Mm.
that. It's your goal. You're going to get your goal no matter what.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
we will equip you to reach that, but we are also equipping you with something to think about, something that you can grow from, na hindi lang
Mm.
for an exam. It's something na may uuwi mo after mo mag-exam. Like, let's say I teach history, di ba? But I'm also a
Mm.
designer, so I always try to relate it to design and how it has given me ideas. For example, etong ganitong ganon. But, it's not that you're looking at, let's say, this is a cornice. Ito yung cornice, gagamitin ko siya for design. But since I design
Mm.
contemporarily, it's not that type of information that I share, but more of kung ano yung idea and concept behind a certain thing that was trending at that time in history, and how that idea stayed on. And that is how you think of design. You don't think of it as, okay, nilagyan lang nila ng stilts ng bahay kubo dahil ganito, but what is the reason behind it. And that reason na yun, that we're building towards, is something that we can also design for and design differently and evolve further. And that's how they should somewhat see and address design. And that's actually the beauty of what I teach in history, that maraming information yan, but the side comments that I give is what I
Na
really love
may
about it.
pinanggalingan, 'di ba?
Yeah.
There's a concept behind everything. Na
Yes.
parang when you ask a student to come up with a concept of
Yeah.
whatever, or any architect, you just don't handpick, sige, I'll get a chair. Let's do
Mhm.
illusion of forms using a chair or a
Yeah.
strawberry, right? If you
Yeah.
learn our history, meron talaga siyang roots, 'di ba?
Yes. So, parang ang idea is, even if you forget those names, those information na yung very factual, ang important is you get the idea, the thought of how
Understanding. You
it gets from
understand it.
point A to point B, so that you can create your own point
Yes.
C. And that is also yung transition learning that Foundry is offering. Di ba? We give the point A to point B, but we're also leaving something for you to grow on and control for yourself to reach a point C in your career.
Mm.
And I think that's something that I really love about Foundry, and how, yun nga, si Architect Jen is in construction. She's also sharing her experiences, and these experiences, you can either learn it from your own mentor, di ba? Or if you ask someone, but we are just really sharing what we have experienced in the field and what we have learned throughout the years and what we have learned from our own mentors, and we share it to these group of people, and with the hopes that they also share it with other people, di ba? It's a very abundant, everything is growing. In the end, our field is also growing because of how we are learning from each other, and yun naman yung
Mm.
maganda talaga, na really growing together and everyone is helping each other to grow. Ayan po.
Yeah.
And the
And to add,
understanding naman kasi when you try to learn, 'di ba, is
Yes.
in your curriculum, the transition, everything you can process or use when you work. It's not just we're teaching technical things just for the sake of the test, right?
Yes.
Yes.
May
Yes.
merong meaning tong tinuturo nyo. You were saying something, Architect Gerard.
yeah, totoo yun, Architect Pash. Parang we always reiterate it to in our classes. And also we make sure that the our message is understood by our students and also our mentors. No, everyone as this common value that we are studying not just because of the board exams. We are studying because we will become architects. Kaya mag-aral ka ng kornisa, dapat lang. Yung parang aralin mo tong code na to, tong BP344 na to, rampa, etc. Dapat lang. Parang ganyan. Parang
Kailangan, 'di ba?
hindi siya
Kailangan. Oo.
hindi siya sa kasi baka tanungin sa board exam. It is because it stems from the core value that we will become architects. No, we will become architects. No, so this is a form of education na we believe na yung parang core of education. No, importante maging malinaw bakit tayo nag-aaral. No?
Tama. And I mean, the entire journey of your 5 years in architecture, right? It molded you to become, whoever you are in preparation to that transition nga to take the board exam. Because that's a very important stage in an architect's life. Diba? Yun na yun eh. Parang for other people, ito na yun. If I don't get license, oh my gosh. If I get license, ito na. And I mean, the pressure is there. So, I wanna ask you about that. Kasi nung ako nagte-take ng board exam, grabe talaga yung stress ko noon. I mean, I'm sure lahat rin kayo, the anxiety and everything, the preparation. And that was pre-pandemic when I was still with my friends. You can still do group studies. Now that we are here in this lockdown, can you educate me also and those who are listening?
Just isang tao na kausap mo to study with. Yung every time I start introducing myself, I also teach them yung probably kung ano yung mga review methodologies that they could try on their own, and then befriend someone, or if you have a friend na you're reviewing with, you review with them, see what works with you. If reading out whatever it is works for you, ganon. If listening works for you, and they do it that way. And then what we also did, we wanted to support them further, not just in class and not just giving them materials. Gumawa kami ng Discord server. And then sa Discord server, those students are just joining in. Yes, and then nakaayos yan. Yung sa isang channel, they're just asking
Discord
history
server,
questions.
okay.
Yes, they're just asking history questions. They're asking ganito. Tapos pagka out of the blue, may question lang sila. Sabi, any mentor or anyone generally, they just post it. Paano yung ganito? And then another mentor will answer. So it's a very nice community that despite not having real tangible group studies with other people, at least on that end, we made them more accessible to each other. Kasi dun sa may physical classes, they can get to see each other, pwede mag-ayaan, madali lang eh. Pagka Zoom classes, baka hanggang pagka nag-Zoom lang na dun lang kayo nagkakaroon ng interaction eh. But at least here, we put them together somewhat in interaction eh. But at least here, we put them together somewhat in a certain space that they can use and take advantage of. And I saw them actually using that a lot of times. And that's something that's really good in how they are interacting with one another. And at least we got to help with them, to assist them, and it's a very fun.
Discord
fun
is
way
such
of doing
a
it.
creative platform for you guys to be on. Kasi diba? Usually pang gamers yan eh. And nga naman, if you close the app of Discord, you're still there. You can do anything, diba? So magandang way of pivoting yan. Again, it's a very young. I think that's the advantage talaga of the community that you have, right? Okay, suggestion lang. I'm sure may nagsuggest na siguro dyan, let's go Clubhouse. Let's go to Clubhouse. Let's just do a lecture there where everyone can come on, diba? And I mean, I can pitch that to Fabi anyway.
Nice yun.
Let's go back to my question. What happened now to Ale? Those who were supposed to take the board exam last year. Can you give us a little bit of information to that? Because maybe there are students who are thinking of taking the board exam. Ano na ba nangyayari ngayon? What is the process now? Anybody can...
Sinong gusto?
Kaya na architecture.
Sinong gusto mag-explain? Architecture, go ahead.
As we know, the ALE schedule in a year is January and June. So last year, June was parang postponed to November, and then postponed to January this year, and then postponed again to June. So ang dami ng parang backlog
This
of
year, right? June
this year.
2021 na dapat.
June
Okay.
2021. So as of this moment, the June 2021 board exam is nakakasa. So ibig sabihin nun, wala pang news kung mamumove yan or makakancel or mapopostpone ulit. Pero we are looking at it na tuloy ang board exam, no? Bakit ganun yung mindset siguro, Architect Patch? Kasi we always say this to our students na regardless of what happens sa exam date, no? Kapag tama yung mindset natin that we are studying not just because of the ALE, but we are studying as to become architects, di ba? Parang kahit anong mangyari sa dates, kahit na next year pa yan, nandun yung energy, nandun yung intention na nag-aaral talaga tayo. No, talagang talagang nandun yung energy na yon. So going back, as of the moment, June, wala pa tayong news from the BOA, PRC na mamumove or cancel. So we are positive right now, no? We are looking at na tuloy yung June na 2021. So lahat ng mga nag-apply, lahat na nag-apply since last year hanggang ngayon, no, lahat 'yan kapag inaccept ng PRC, ng PRBOA, no, nang binigyan ka na ng notice, ng NOAA, notice na para mag-board exam, no. So you can take the board exam, no, this coming June. So just make sure na syempre we always comply with the requirements of the PRBOA that you have a 2 years diversified experience after graduation, your graduation. So basta meron ka niyan, tapos you complete the logbook, no, and other requirements, siguradong pwede kang mag-board exam.
Yes.
So it's, the requirements in terms of taking the board exam is still the same. Wala namang nagbago doon, 'di ba? It's really more of those who are ready to take it. Talagang it's just really getting delayed because of the lockdown nga and the restrictions. So hirap
if I
yun
may add,
yes, architecture.
If I may add, Architect Patch, no, nung January, dapat magkaroon tayo ng ALE, no? May additional requirements lang ang PRC, PRBOA. Yun yung in relation to the pandemic. Na kailangan meron kang certificate na wala kang COVID. Tapos nakapag 14-day quarantine ka or nakapag-test ka na swab test na negative yung results mo. So may ganong requirement na additional lang. So kaya napansin mo, Architect Patch, no, sobra kaming na move din, no, with the students din from other countries, other provinces, na nag-prepare talaga kasi merong 14-day quarantine. Lumuwas pa ng Maynila para sa board exam. Tapos biglang maka-cancel. So sabi ko, yun yung nakaka sa damdamin, no, na talagang maraming may gusto talaga nagpe-prepare ng maigi for the boards, tapos may ganitong klaseng lang sa information, no. Anyways, because it is very important that everyone is safe, no. Kaya kaya importante talaga na malaman din, no, for those who are who will be taking the board exam this coming June, just be mindful, no, na merong mga ganitong additional requirements, na additional ka na kailangan. Kunyari, kung luluwas ka, syempre saan ka titira? Diba? Yung mga ganitong mga preparations
saan ka
natin.
maging safe, diba?
Yes.
Oo. And ito yung mahirap dito because the entire journey to taking the board exam, it's already so stressful for people, right? Pressure na. And this is added, this is an additional requirement that adds more pressure to it because you can be so ready to take the board exam and then all of a sudden health issues pa ba? marami dyan, the night before dati, the night before of your board exam, walang tulog kasi hindi makatulog. Diba ganyan naman lagi? Sino
Yes.
tulog ng maaga bago board exam? Wala atang ganong tao. Ngayon, kailangan mo pa magbigay ng negative certificate ng PRC, ay ng PCR, diba? Plus the fact na you will quarantine.
Yes.
So, Architect John, my question to you is, yung mindset kasi ng mga estudyante, mahirap, diba? I mean, more than the board exam, everything, it adds the anxiety to them. How do you, as mentors, help them get through this? How do you motivate the students?
Actually,
Especially now that everything's virtual.
nung na-cancel yung board exam, may nag-chat sa akin na student, "Ma'am, magtitinda na lang po ako ng balot." Ganyan katindi yung frustration na parang cancel na naman,
Yes.
ready na ako eh. Syempre, of course, everybody, somewhere in our lives as architecture students, we really wanted this time.
Excited
Oo.
tayo to take it.
Oo. Kumbaga sa Pasko, di ba? It's the most wonderful time of the year, di ba? Kumbaga
Yes.
for
Regalo mo,
us,
malapit na
di
yung
ba?
regalo eh. Malapit na buksan
Oo.
yung regalo.
It's one of the most amazing, I think, for me, ha? Oo. Bukod dito sa dalawang kasama ko na mga top-notcher. Oo. Pero if you were the student na ang goal mo talaga is makapasa, of course, and then to have that little card which signifies everything that you worked hard for the past 5 years of studying and 2 years of being an apprentice, it is really frustrating for you to be ma-cancel or parang ang dadrama nilang lahat. Architect batch, talagang to the point na parang na-cancel, lahat naman kayo na-cancel. Parang feeling nila, merong mga students na, "Ma'am, parang hindi po yata para sa akin." Nakakagulat.
Pero across the board yun eh, no? Pero across the board yung pag-cancel.
Architect din, sinasabi ko din sa kanila na, alam niyo yan, para sa inyo talaga yan. And in time, dadating din yan. I even added to them, if you think na you can take the exam while the pandemic is happening, go for it. But if you imagine yourself in the exam room at umubo yung katabi mo, kaya mo pa ba mag-exam? Yung nalagay yung tanong ko kasi, I mean, of course, taking the exam itself is a different difficulty. And ganyan, naka-face shield ka at naka-mask ka, added factors yan. And I don't know if they want to deal with those factors. And I tell them outright na, well, it won't hurt if you delay because kung umubo nga sa likod mo at hindi ka na makafocus sa question number 5, paano yung pagsagot mo sa exam dahil sa ubo, hindi dahil sa pag-review mo. And that is something that's very, very crucial sa kanila. Other than that, which I'm thankful din sa may foundry na I noticed na, well, what happened nung na-delay yung exam, meron kasing may refresher courses, yung mga 2 weeks before the exam. And pinapatuloy ako ng some of the refresher courses. And then suddenly na-move. So in-announce ni Architect Gerard na stop na yung refresher. Of course, hindi mag-exam eh. But all those that were enrolled, you can sit in dun sa may susunod na chunk. And it's okay for foundry. Even yung mga ibang classes natin, di ba, Architect Gerard, nung na-delay tayo for the June, it's okay that, the exam got moved. You can still attend and sit in if you would want to dun sa may susunod natin na cycle for the exam. So, we still support them. And of course, di ba, very abundant mindset natin to be able to support them. And we don't mind having them around. I don't mind having them around, having those extra set of eyes and teaching them. And yun naman din talaga ang sinasabi namin sa yung other factors that it's not just really about just taking the exam and yung may pandemic for the exam taker, but there's also something sa amin that we also adjust to and we are happy to accommodate them. Kaya we always are there to help and support them and we love doing that, di ba? Yes.
And I really can see it from you guys, no? Kung paano nyo i-explain yung mga kwento. I mean, it's so inspiring. Kasi pag review center, lagi tense mga tao. Pero you know what? This group is like different. Parang kayo yung sobrang excited magturo. And I feel the energy here. Architect Gerard, you're going to say something?
Kaya kakilala na nga namin yung mga magulang nung iba.
Yeah.
For sure.
May
Hi
pamati
po,
pa, hello
Gento
po.
pati si Mr. and Mrs. Gento. Tapos sasabihin ng student, hi din daw, sabi ni Mami tsaka ni Daddy. Ready na din sila mag-take ng exam.
We're part of their family already.
And I won't be surprised kasi ang laki ng, you will always remember your mentors in the course of the review before your ale. I'm not saying na hindi ka thankful dun sa mga professors mo in college. I mean, malaki rin talaga yung factor.
Yes,
Pero
yes,
yung
yes.
mga nagturo sa'yo in preparation for that actual exam, it will always stick to your mind, di ba? Kasi ito yung sumuport. And this is something that, you're ilang beses ba natin narinig before that you can never ready to take the board exam before, actually deciding na, okay, I will study this year. Diba? Maraming ganyan cases na next year na lang ako magte-take, I'm not yet ready. But in reality, it's not like, okay, next year I'll be ready. Diba? And you as mentors, you're there to make them prepared and make them ready for it. And it's I can feel the pressure also on your part. And yun nga, ang ganda ng energy dito sa room na to kasi parang I think it's your passion. And malaking tulong dito is because there's a clear vision of what Foundry wants to do and the goal, right? And Architect Gerard, yung innovation, yun nga parang ako naman ang worry ko kasi ang dami nang nade-delay, no, in terms of taking the board exam, parang parami na ng parami, nagbe-build up. So, the way that Foundry is supporting it is you're still there for them, even for the ones who are supposed to take the board exam last June. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
So,
correct.
continuous learning pa rin. Oh.
Yes. Kaya nga, hashtag namin sa
Alright.
Foundry, keep on learning. Hashtag keep on learning.
Baka dapat
Ayan.
ibahin nyo na yung hashtag na yan. Kaya ata na-delay eh. Medyo i-pivot natin ang what yung keep on learning. Kaya learn eh.
Meron din kaming sagot doon. Di ba? Parang hashtag future architects. Pero siguro nga, maganda nga idea ng architect patch na sige, we're think of a new thing or hashtag to address that.
Iba naman yung batiin nyo. Kasi keep on learning, ayan tuloy. Sige, let's learn again for baka dapat hashtag let's take it. Parang gano'n. Ito na yun.
Oo nga eh.
Diba? Let's own it.
Own it.
Okay,
Own it. Oo
I
nga,
mean, so now that this is very interesting. No? I like learning about new companies and new ways of education. And this is a very young community that you have. And I mean, with your expertise and your experiences nga, it's very relatable. And there's for a lot of people, mas madali sa kanila kasi absorb when they can relate to your stories, 'di ba? Parang mas madaling i-explain. I'm not saying it's less technical, but it's more of you are able to explain it kung paano ba talaga nangyayari, 'di ba? And yun nga it's not within the walls of the taking the board exam. So, now that we are already in this situation, what more can we expect from Foundry moving forward? Let's just say in a perfect world, guys, wala nang pandemic next month. Alam mo yun? Parang biglang poof, wala na. What are we expecting from Foundry? Your let's just call it yung mga future plans nyo and strategies for the company that you guys just, built.
Yeah, architect Pash, very important yung value of openness, no? And I believe that since the start of Foundry, we are continuously learning, with other professions and also mentors and students alike. Parang yung mga students, they also give us suggestions, and then ang importante sa amin, we receive, we acknowledge it, and then if it's possible to do it, we try it. Parang we're not afraid to try yung if we see merit doon sa suggestion. So thus, what's the future of Foundry moving forward? We are working right now with collaborations with other cities, no, and we also have collaborations with Cebu already. So we have a team already in Cebu, no, that will cater to our students in that area. And then we are also working on collaborations with other allied fields of design and architecture and construction. So meron tayong parang usap ngayon with interior designers. We also have ongoing talks with landscape architects. No, so we are looking at expanding the fields, no, and also yung professions, no, under Foundry. Actually, not under Foundry, but in collaboration with Foundry, no, and yeah, so ayun, exploration also with other platforms of learning, like yung mga highly accessible platforms, no, to our students and also to our professionals. So yun, we're looking at, for example, YouTube, for example, we started some learning and instructional videos already for everyone's consumption, no, so that they can also learn from us, no. Meron na rin tayong mga sessions din dun sa YouTube. So yun lang, ano lang, few items lang, but the center of it all is we are open, no, to new things, no, how to deliver, as long as it is aligned with our vision and also the mission of Foundry.
Yes,
Actually,
that's
no,
correct. And I mean,
architect,
ano talaga, yes.
if I may share, no, we are very proud also with the special programs, no, of in preparations for ALE. One thing that I'm really excited to share is the mock board exams. The mock board exams in Foundry is so unique because it is not just simulation of the board exams, no, parang yung content, but the actual environment. And not only the environment,
Okay.
not only the environment, but meron din siyang meron ding component of parang coaching, no, coaching component of it na ano siya, galing sa experience, no. So parang they will experience it, and from their real experience on that actual mock boards, doon natin kukunin yung learning. So it's a different different program na parang mahirap siyang i-explain. Pero ang pinaka-core nito is bibigyan ka ng better understanding of your own preparedness. No,
Yes.
parang hindi siya external, kundi it will be coming from you. That will help you prepare for the boards, kasi ang board exam is not isang aspect lang. It is multi aspect. It is not just about this, no. Merong aspect ng emotions, may aspect ng spirituality, may aspects ng yung level of knowledge, no, and also the physical, yung health mo mismo, di ba? So one time, if I may share, no,
Malaking bagay talaga yung health. Oo.
yes, nung January, ang mock board exams namin is unique because we simulated the idea na naka-face mask ka, tas naka-face mask saka face shield. Tapos buong araw ka mag-e-exam.
Baka may umubo pa.
What will you feel? Oo. What will you feel? We will give you that experience na, naku, parang nahihirapan pala ako physically. Parang hindi pala ako magfa-function very well kapag may ganitong PPE. So what will you do? What will you do kung ganyan din experience mo? So we will equip you with that kind of awareness, and then from your own experience, then you will come up with your own preparations for that. So that's the beauty of the mock board exams that we offer in Foundry.
That's very that's very nice. I mean, tama naman yan yung the actual simulation of the exam. Kasi nga naman, if you do a mock board tapos walang mask, imposible naman hindi yun mangyayari if ever we push through with June, diba? And I mean, maglakad nga lang, you're not moving when you're taking the board exam, pero yung utak mo gumagana, so pinapapawisan ka din, tumataas yung blood pressure mo, umiinit yung loob mo, so parang may effect siya mentally, yung paghinga mo. Hindi, totoo yan. Nung, ikwento ko din, when I was taking the board exam, may time parang, okay, nervous. Hindi ko na alam yung sasagot ko. Lumabas talaga ako, nag-toilet ako, huminga ako ng, balik. And I can just imagine now, in this situation, ayaw mo nang lumabas, di ba? You don't wanna hold anything because of the kapraningan. So, it really is a different environment now. Architect Cooks?
Architect Patch, naisip ko din. Kasi di ba may mga baon tayo habang nag-i-exam, may inumin ka, yan,
Oo, isa pa yan.
Inumin. Meron kang tubig, may kape ka, may soft drinks ka, kung ano man yung tip mo. Tapos meron ka rin snacks. Kunwari, mga tinapay, yung mga ganong klaseng snacks. Or meron kang biscuit, all of those kinds. Ngayon, imagine mo ngayong pandemic, paano ka kakain doon? Di ba nga as much as
Paano
possible,
nga ba?
we must avoid eating outside. Kasi dun, they say that's where they acquire most nung sakit when you eat outside Kasi 'di ba, they just said I would like to share yung nakita ko sa CDC, the New York Times sabi, 1 in 10,000 surfaces yung coronavirus transmission. So most likely 'di ba, these droplets could probably be airborne ganun. So when you're eating, mas nakakatakot din kumain habang nag-i-exam ka. Kasi, or even, nauhaw ka habang nag-i-exam. Parang you're taking a risk to drink your water while taking the exam. It's another extra added physical factor. Ayun. And like
And I think siguro naman before the before the, if ever it pushes through this June, magre-release naman sila ng mga regulations, right? And instructions. And siguro naman, they will indicate there if you are allowed, ano bang limitations sa pagdala ng pagkain. Kasi for those who aren't taking the ALE, just listening to our conversation, matagal lang board exam rin namin. I mean, hindi siya biro, kailangan mo talaga ng brain food, ng sugar rush, kung ano man to keep the brain running. So you really need brain food, and it's very tricky now on how we are going to incorporate it within this situation, right?
Yes.
And okay, so before we go on a break and then before we end our segment, I wanna, mention those people who are messaging you guys on Facebook, we have here Ronald Dalmasio. Hello guys watching from Newfoundland, Parañaque. We have Ruther Dumalanta, proud of you, Cooksy. Adrian Lacorte, hi Architect Cooks. Daming ni Architect Cooks dito. Mark Jam.
Na-share ko sa...
This is on Facebook. Maria Lagak, here's watching. And then we also have Bea Villaluz, Bubbles Nuestro, Kyla, Kathy Lopez, Aquiles, hi Idol Cooks, Rainer Reyes, Architect Cooks. Lang sa kalam, yung mga bumabati dito sa Facebook. And I mean, it's such an inviting community, right? So let's pause for a short break and then let's do our last segment. I want to hear some thoughts, quick thoughts, and then it will be the end of our discussion. No? So part Curve TV Bold Talk Season 2 will be back shortly. Sa atin as designers. And then after that, it's just a message to all architecture and creative design students who's trying to learn during this time. So motivation. All right. So I think we're back. Okay, we're back. Okay. So we're still watching TV's Bold Talk Season 2 and still with us our friend from Foundry, Architect Gerard, Architect Jen, and Architect Cooks. Okay? So, ito, piniprep kanina ko, narinig niyo yung piniprep ko sila for my next question. So, I will be giving 60 seconds each. Okay? And I wanna listen on how they will construct their their message. So, let's do this in this order. Let's start with Architect Jen. And then let's start with Architect Cooks. And then let's end with Architect Gerard. Okay? So, with the uncertainties happening and surrounding us as architects and designers, what are your frustrations and disappointments right now? So, I'll give you 60 seconds. Architect Jen, sige, timer starts now.
Ako, as like what I have said
Ikaw talaga yung
earlier,
first.
oo. Ang frustration ko talaga is construction talaga. Kasi, as what I have said, yun nga, ang pinakaiba ko is nasa field tayo ng construction. No? So, maraming hindi natutuloy, maraming hindi nangyayari, maraming hindi gumagana kasi nga maya-maya ECQ, downtime. So, last week was 2 weeks affected talaga lahat. So, that would be a biggest frustration for someone who is in the field of construction siguro. Biglang may mga ganito na kailangan every pasok mo sa subdivision is may swab test. So I think that's one of my biggest frustration in this industry din, no? Na talagang marami ding hindi natutuloy. Talagang isa tayo sa pinaka-apektado nitong pandemic na to. Yeah.
I agree. Talagang the industry, the construction industry is really badly hurt also from this, no? Ang dami masyadong affected because of the limitation.
And one of those things then is nasa atin yung mga workers na isa sa pinakamahirap na sector ng bansa, which is our construction workers. So ang hirap makita na parang wala bang trabaho dyan, they still want to work. Even though kahit ganito nakadelikado yung sitwasyon, walang pakialam. Basta gusto nila, may makain, yun. So that's very frustrating for me to hear.
Tama man yan. Okay, let's now go to Architect Cooks. Okay.
Architecture being very physical and you have to be really there in person. That's yung like what Architect Jen said, the very first frustration that I have. Paano yung mga tao that are working? Yung mga people that are going day to day, sila yung talagang pinakakawawa. Me being a designer, I can stay at home and design for my client and I can earn. And I'm very fortunate for that. That's one of the first things na it's a very, parang, yung construction is already dangerous. It became even more dangerous because of the current pandemic. And it's so frustrating. It's so sad. Another thing that's very frustrating because, diba, very interconnected tayo like with other people and how our different mentors and even collaborators. Ayun yung hearing them get sick. It's very frustrating. Like just recently, a few days ago, which is very sad, one of our mentors in school sa CSB, De La Salle College of St. Neil, passed away. And he's one of the best mentors that I've ever had. So if like in the entire school, yan si Architect Merant de Vera, I would place him probably in my first hand. Siya yung isang pipiliin ko na one of the best mentors that I've ever had. And ayun, he passed away because of COVID. And, you know, we can't do anything about it. It's very sad na we're losing very brilliant people also left and right. And other than that, workplaces are getting sick. Diba? Workers are getting sick. You don't know what goes dun sa kanila. They're very close to each other. So it's something that's very heavy, something that's really frustrating, and something that's very sad. Kasi it's not anymore about money or projects. It's about lives na eh. And each of those lives is connected to a lot more people's lives. So, yun, that's something very frustrating and very heavy. Na I hope we can get to do something about it and grow upon and, you know, recover more.
Mahirap again because, before it used to be just numbers, right? Are now names. And, you know, kilala na natin yung mga apektado talaga, which is one of the really most painful things happening right now. And we're losing a lot of people na, you know, any industry naman, no? And that's correct. Architect Gerard, you, any frustrations?
Architect Patch, actually, nung tinanong mo yan, nahirapan ako. Kasi, paano ba siya naging mahirap for me? Kasi, una, sige, totoo, lack of leadership. And in many aspects, from the top hanggang sa pinakamaliit na unit ng society, hanggang sa sarili ko. Leadership ko sa sarili ko. So, I always, whenever, parang I train myself, siguro this is just my way of doing things. Parang, whenever I see something na I'm frustrated or parang sa tingin ko hindi tama, I always go back to my own self. Sabi ko, kaya ko siya nakikita kasi it's a reflection of something in me. And I always find na sa tingin ko, yun nga, it is very blatant na sa akin na nakikita ko lack of leadership. Siguro ito yung lesson sa akin na I also lack leadership sa sarili ko. So I am working right now. I'm working right now on this by being mindful. No, parang gusto kong improve itong portion na ito ng life ko. And siguro isa na rin yung siguro isa na rin dito yung sa labas, no. Hindi ko masisi, no, na hindi naman talaga pare-parehas ang tao, pero I'm really agitated din, tsaka nagagalit ako sa mga taong nag-abuse ng nangyayari. So in whatever form na you take advantage of other people, na alam na nga lahat tayo ganito yung situation natin, and then you see this as an opportunity to abuse and to get over, parang take advantage of other people. Yun dun ako talaga triggered. Trigger ako doon. So yeah, then going back, am I also abusive? Parang bigla akong bumabalik din sa sarili ko na tinitingnan ko din if I can improve myself on that aspect. Yun lang.
Right. And again, just like what we said kanina, diba? Self-reflection is so important. Introspection with everything that's happening. You know, it's good that you mentioned about leadership kasi yan rin yung, actually yan rin tinuturo sa amin sa leadership class namin ngayon that, you know, the leadership skill will always start within also. Like, you can be a leader on your own. Right? And it's so important to know and start within before you can expect others to be good leaders also. So it should always start with yourself also. So, I mean, maganda mag-release ng frustration paminsan-minsan, diba? And ang ganda dito, tulad na sinabi ni Architect kanina, nararamdam ko rin yung mga naramdaman nyo. I mean, parang vinoice out yun na rin yung utak ko. And it's so nice na hindi lang ako mag-isa dun sa mga ganong disappointments in life. So thank you for saying that for me also. Now, just to wrap this whole discussion up, it's been so helpful. Yun nga, I'd like to use your term from point A to point B ng conversation, diba? So nag-transform din yung topic, and it became so holistic from us being professionals to educators to, you know, inspiring and motivating students. What's your message to all architecture and creative design students, even the colleagues siguro who's, you know, trying to keep up in growing and developing even in this most challenging time? And it's so hard kahit anong perspective mo tingnan yan, as a student, as a mentor, as an educator, as a practitioner, everything is so challenging. Let's start with Architect Jen.
Okay, so sa akin, siguro, yung masasabi ko ngayon, for those who are in the architecture world, kasi nga sabi nga natin, no, hindi naman lahat ng tao nasa design, hindi naman lahat ng tao nasa construction. So there are some of our colleagues and some of our architecture students who are really struggling right now. Siguro marami din yung nagsastruggle financially, you know. So, kasi, syempre, hindi lahat are fortunate enough to have clients na pwedeng, meron sila mapagkukunan financially, no? Siguro may advice for them is to be creative na, no? Creativity. Paganahin natin yung creativity natin. And alam ko, ang isang tao, hindi ako naniniwala na isa lang ang talent niya. So, lahat tayo, marami tayong talent. It is already time din siguro to channel yung mga talents natin or mga passions natin na iba na aside from architecture that can make them survive. I think one of the things that I want to say to everyone is lahat naman tayo ngayon nahihirapan. So, lahat mahirap talaga. Mahirap yung pinagdadaanan natin. Mapa-student ka man, student, mapa nagtatrabaho, lahat naman nahihirapan. But we are very lucky pa rin na yun nga, wala tayong sakit. At this point in time, parang paggising mo sa umaga is a biggest blessing na may panlasa ka, malalasahan mo yung kape na iinumin mo. One of the biggest blessings of the day.
May naamoy ka.
Yes, oo. Biggest blessing na sa atin yung dry na yung mga skin natin dahil kaka-alcohol. Oo. Pero at least, 'di ba, we are still pushing, and gaya nga ng sabi ng isang taong dearest to me, Architect Gerard B, is it's okay. So, parating it's okay, tanggapin kung ano yung mangyayari, but still, ayun, gawin natin kung ano yung mga pwede nating magawa at this time. So, be thankful. And, ayun nga, at kagaya ng aking mga kaibigan, kamustahin natin ang ating mga kaibigan always. Yun, always. This is a digital age. Messenger is just there. You just put a hi, hello. Hindi natin alam who's struggling eh. Hindi natin alam kung sino yung talagang down na. Pero, yun nga, as one of my friends said, pag nasa sobrang pinakababa ka na, wala ka ng ibang pupuntahan kundi pataas lang. So, that's it. That's my message to everyone.
Thanks, Architect Jen. Architect Cox?
Oh, my message to everyone is yung pinaka first step na importante actually is to manifest. Yan. You manifest yung something that's positive. You manifest what you want. Lalo na ngayon, it's very pessimistic. Isipin natin, always on the negative, and probably that's what we also get to attract if we always think and manifest that. So yun lang, it's a very simple thing. Even tell the students, yun, diba, taking the exam, manifest yan. You're going to get the license to become architects, but it just doesn't apply there in the exam. It applies to everything, diba? You manifest that you're healthy. Ayun, you manifest na you're going to have a good day. You manifest that everyone around you is healthy and you're going to receive good news. Ayan yung mga gusto kong lagi na, yung things that we want to attract. And ayun, I hope that everyone could get to manifest something positive, na let's all manifest something very positive for each other. And ayun, that's my very short message. Manifest.
Thanks, Architect Cox. Yes, manifest. Yan, yun. Magandang keyword yan, manifest. Architect Gerard?
Yeah, thank you, Architect Pacha. Thank you so much, guys. Siguro for message for my students, to our students, and also my fellow professionals, I've learned this from also my mentors, no? And yes, and yes, I acknowledge, di ba? Yes, I acknowledge everything. Kung ano yung nangyayari, sige, yes, I acknowledge. Kung pagod ka na, yes. Kung kailangan mo ng pahinga, yes, that's true. Kung masaya ka, that's correct, yes. Acknowledge what you feel, acknowledge what you have. Kung ano man meron ka, you acknowledge, yes. Kung ano yung totoo sa'yo, yes. And, so ano nga yung end? End is something na may connection, merong positive, may progress. Kasi para ako, I also caught myself. Yes, oo nga, na-acknowledge ko, but pero tapos parang I caught myself. Nagrereklamo na ako. Pero parang isa sa mga gusto ko i-share is yes and. Kasi ang daming possibilities, ang daming pwedeng mangyari. pwede kang gumalaw eh. Yes, depressed ako. And gagalaw ka eh. No, so just keep on learning. hashtag hashtag keep on learning. Just move. No, yes, and thank you.
Yes, that's right. Ayun tuloy, yes, tuloy na sabi ko, parang na-pressure ako mag-end after. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You acknowledge things, but you do something about it. Diba? Dapat may follow through lagi. That's why you see progress there. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. When you start acknowledging and then you start working on it. Ano nga naman ngayon? Porket alam mo na, diba? And na tinanggap mo. Okay, so, again, it's still different when you're in a room full of mentors, a room full of educators because iba yung perspective ninyo, iba kung paano niyo nakikita, and most especially it's very different on how you explain and articulate things to people. Para talagang you are allowing us and you are engaging us to learn something from you guys. And I've learned a lot from your kwentos on air, off air, diba? Ang dami kong nalaman, and it's going to be very helpful, especially for those who would want or who's planning to take the board exams. This is a good preparation for them, how to, prepare themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? So thank you for your advices. One more thing, how can they contact you guys, or how can they learn more about Foundry? Is there a website, your social media accounts? Maybe you can share it here.
Yeah, thank you so much for allowing us to also invite everyone. No, check Foundry. We have website www.foundry.com.ph, and also we are very active in our social media. Firstly, yung Facebook, and also in Instagram. So you can just give us a message, and surely isa sa namin, beshi ng bayan, si Ma'am Eunice, no?
Yeah.
will give you a message, no? And yeah, we hope to see you and be part of the community.
Thank you very much for that. And guys, this is a very young group. This is a very tech-savvy community. So I guess kapag nag-message kayo on one of their social media accounts, walang problema. I think they are going to immediately answer you on that, on your inquiries or questions on how you can, be part of their community also. And also learn from them. So there you have it, parts. Hashtag keep on learning, sabi nga nila. Pero dagdagan natin, hashtag let's start practicing and hope that, the board exam will push through also. Para naman, di ba, tuloy-tuloy ang natin despite everything that's happening. Okay, so Curve TV's Bold Talk Season 2 is supported by Workfolk Collaborative Workspaces and Hospitality Innovators Incorporation. So for sponsorships and collaborations, if you want to feature your brands, your projects, or your company, please drop us an email at 1tbcchannel@gmail.com. Follow our socials at CurveTVPH and at TBC Plus, the Boulder channel. Thank you very much again, Architect Gerard D., Architect Jen Leocadio, and Architect Cox Nuestro. Thank you. More power to Foundry and all the best in your personal projects. Be safe, guys, and continue spreading the good vibes and your experiences and all your inspirational and motivational talks. So, partners, join me again next week for another episode of Curve TV's Bold Talks. That's Wednesdays, live at 6 p.m. Stay safe, everyone. Get an architect, get an engineer, get a contractor, and get ahead of the curve. I'm Architect Patch, and you've just watched Curve TV's Bold Talk Season 2, your collaborative construction show. Bye, guys.